Community Hotline is made possible with generous support by the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission. The Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission advocates on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels.
Hi, welcome back to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel. We're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Now we're going to be talking with Marrow PDX, an organization that is out of North Portland. It's new to me, and I want to hear all the details about it. With us to represent Marrow is the let's see, you are the founder and executive director?
Program director.
Program director, Daylin Lammy. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
And Sky S., you are a Marrow member and teen ambassador on the board of directors at Marrow. Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thanks.
So I heard about, the last segment we were just talking about Buy Nothing, and how I actually found that through Nextdoor.com, and I was commenting on something on Nextdoor.com, and somebody mentioned something about Marrow. I don't even know how the whole thing connected, but I said, what's Marrow? I had never heard of it before, and I checked it out and was really impressed by what I saw on your website. And so I contacted you, Daylin, and found out that it's about less than a mile from my house. So drove down and checked out the outside of the building. Very welcoming signage on the outside, I have to say. I said, yeah, if, you know, it spoke to me. It's like, I would feel very welcome in a place like that. Tell me what it is that you're trying to accomplish at your organization and what your mission is, if you would.
Yeah, so our mission is to empower teenagers to take ownership over their education and also to allow them to be visually, socially, and culturally literate. And so my background is in education, and I've worked in public schools, I've worked in museums, and I've worked with unschoolers.
Unschoolers?
Which is a particularly popular in Portland sect of homeschooling where the idea is that humans are naturally curious, and that if you set opportunities in front of a young person for them to explore and learn in life, that they will, and if they need to learn something, they will. So I took a lot of the experiences that I had in all of those different spaces and looked at why most young people, even if they're doing well in public school, aren't necessarily engaged in what they're doing, and took the effective parts of all of those other different types of education spaces and really combined them into what I thought would be not just an effective alternative, but a space for all of those different kids from all those different backgrounds to come together and sort of share what they're learning and what their experiences are.
Wow. So it's not a school. It's something that's like an addition to school, or even if you're not in school, right? The kids don't have to be in school too.
No. So like we have kids like Sky, who goes to Roosevelt, who are in public school and they come in afterwards. And then we have unschoolers and some online schoolers who just come in during the day when a normal teenager would be in school. And we're also open to, like, you know, if you've dropped out or if you're a recent graduate and haven't figured out like what your next step is, or, you know, just really anyone who's, you know, preteen to early 20s who, for whatever reason, wants more out of their education experiences.
So it doesn't matter where you are in that spectrum.
Yeah.
You can always learn more,
Yes.
and you can always become more engaged, I imagine.
Yeah.
Can you share with me, Sky, what your situation was? What drew you to Marrow?
I think the first time I came to Marrow, I had a friend bring me over. I was looking for a place to do work, and this was when there was kind of like a lull in programming. So I kind of had an opportunity to go in there and get work done. But
like your time schoolwork?
Yeah, schoolwork from Roosevelt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is located very close to Roosevelt High School.
Yeah, it's just a couple blocks away.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, it was just a really convenient place for me to go and get my schoolwork done. And just the building we had at that time was really, I don't know, it was just really comfy, because like you described it as kind of a do-it-yourself place.
Yeah.
So this is the old location, right?
Yeah.
Old location,
yeah.
Okay.
We're just across the street now.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
it was only across the street? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah. So going in there for me at first was like a little like, I don't know these people, but this place is cool, they look friendly. And as I kept going, you know, a couple times a week, I realized that's just the friendliest place you could be, whether you're talking to anyone or not. It's just so comforting to be there.
So there was no fear involved in being there, because I think that's something that I think not only kids, adults too, but there's a lot of hate, there's a lot of fear in the world, and to find a place where you feel comfortable and safe, I think is kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of our other teens is actually an online schooler because she has social anxiety and OCD and like some other things that she just like, it made school difficult for her. And she comes into Marrow and it's instant. It's so hilarious. She just becomes a goof. She's like totally herself. And it's just like, you'd never believe that she has like all of this stuff going on internally, because she's just like comfy when she's there.
That's interesting, because some sort of educational setups work for some kids better than others, and so maybe the online school works, but she probably needs that, the interaction with people.
Exactly.
But that must feel like a safe place to her.
Yeah.
As opposed to like some regular institutional, schools. There's a lot of bullying or harassment that goes on, and especially the more people that are there, the higher the incident, I imagine, of that is, and it's unfortunate and it's sad and it's scary sometimes, but knowing they have a place to go where they can be themselves is huge.
For sure.
So besides being a place for people to go to do your homework, what other kinds of things do you do there?
So we basically, the way we're structured is that anyone in the community can propose a workshop or a class or an event with us. And we sort of float it by the group that's there the most, and then sort of see with our extended group if anyone would be interested in that thing. And if they would, then we go, yeah, sure,
go for it.
Teach your thing.
Well, give me an example.
So we had an electronics workshop that was really cool last year, where a local person who's just really into tinkering taught, it was mostly boys, just how to make these horrendous sounds and like these like the little like beep boop things, but but there was like he just approached us and was like, would anyone want to learn this? And we were like, maybe. So we asked around on Facebook, and people were like, yeah, totally. So we offered it and people came. So
interesting. Something like that might expose a kid, I'm guessing, to something they'd never thought about getting into.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, that's electronics. That's what do I need to know to get into that? And
yeah. And so that was like one of the big ideas for me behind Marrow, was that a lot of the time in public school, the classes that you're taking are just more broad. You're taking physics, or you're taking American literature, and our idea was to like really zero in on things that are like unique, and they're like project based, and they're going to maybe make connections to other areas, but like just they're so specific that someone's going to go, well, that's weird, like I'd never thought of that thing, like and then they get again exposed to new things.
Well, and if you're exposed to something that does like to have a career and it does require math or English or something else, maybe you'd be more interested and more engaged in it because you know why you were taking it.
Yes.
Just like when I was in school and I took algebra, I'm like, I'll never use this again in the rest of my life. And I was not engaged.
Yeah.
I think there would be, you'd have more of an interest in it. I remember my daughter in high school, was just a good student, but she wasn't really engaged until she got to college, and then she was taking the classes she wanted to take, and she'd come home and be like, oh my gosh, and she'd just spew forth all this stuff that she was learning because she was so excited about it.
Yeah.
Because it was what she was interested in.
Yeah, and that's like the ownership component of our mission, because a lot of the motivation in school is grades, like not getting kicked out of school, like just like keeping afloat, rather than like, this is cool, I want to learn about this. And a lot of the time those things that people get excited about are electives that are getting cut, or like so just like that excitement about learning. And like again, like humans want to learn, like we're excitable, and people who don't like school often don't realize that like they love learning.
Yeah, that's great. So you moved to a new location across the street, and more space. Is that what you were looking for?
It was more space. It was heat, windows, bathrooms.
Details.
Yeah, you know, the essential. So our old space was a converted garage,
okay.
which worked really well for us for the year that we were in there, but we outgrew it pretty quickly.
So you're going to have a grand reopening.
Yes.
And so tell me about that. That'll be Saturday?
It's Friday.
Or Friday.
It's, a week from this Friday, March 3rd. And we have a silent auction of artwork from lots of amazing local artists. We have a raffle with, again, like local businesses going, everything from like beers at the beer porches that are near us to like upwards of $300 of tattoo time, like just, yeah, cool stuff. And then we're gonna have some teen bands playing. Yeah, and just food, like general good times.
Well, that sounds like fun. So is it during the daytime? Is that
so it starts at 3 p.m. so that we can catch kids leaving school, and then the bands will end at 10. But most of the stuff is going on around like 7.
Great. Oh, that sounds like fun. Yeah. So that's on Lombard, and we'll have the information on the screen. But easy to get to, easy to find, and yeah. Oh, that's exciting. So what are the other parts of it? You talked about the taking ownership of your education. Tell me about the other use of the. Well, you can recite them because I can't remember.
Yeah. So visual, social, and cultural literacy.
Visual, social, and cultural. So what does that refer to? So
it's sort of those things together sort of create your ability to interpret and interact with the world around you. So visual literacy is your ability to, recognize where something's coming from. So you see an advertisement, you're like who's directing this at me? What is their intention? And then cultural literacy is your ability to engage with and understand your culture and the cultures around you. And social literacy is more about being active and understanding interpersonal relationships.
Okay.
And part of our focus is to really just allow teenagers to understand the way that these things operate within culture and within community, so that they're really taking the things that they're learning at Marrow, or even if it's not like a skill that they're learning, but just like what they're learning from their experiences, and really taking that out into their communities. Because we really want the young people who come to our space to be advocates for each other and for their community.
That's great. Hey, we need each other, right?
Yeah.
So what other kinds of things do you do, Sky, besides going there and doing your homework? I mean, have you been involved in any of the classes, activities?
There's one program Dalen's been hosting, is the Crafts for Mental Health. And the first time she did it, I was there and I was trying to get a hold of someone. I was just panicking because they wouldn't respond. And she's like, okay, well, how about you come make a little booklet to calm down? And I went ahead and did that, and it was really helpful. So as often as I can do it, I go and do that. And so far I've just made 2 little books, but it's so helpful to just sit and focus on one little thing. And I'd never really thought of making things, like crafting things for my mental health. I've heard about people drawing and doing more like illustrative things. And I tried that and I couldn't really get into it.
But you found something that works for you.
Yeah. It's really simple, but it's really nice.
I know you can always use help as a nonprofit, and you have a fundraising video, I believe, that you brought. Why don't we take a look at that and show it so people can get a better idea of what you're doing and maybe what you need. Okay, let's take a look at that now.
Hi, I'm Dalen, the founder and director at Marrow. Welcome to our space. Marrow is a creative youth development program and community space for teens in the St. John's neighborhood of Portland. What you're seeing now is our brand new space. We just moved in this month after finishing our pilot year and taking a brief hiatus to get our nonprofit status and secure our new location. You'll be able to read more about our move, why it happened, and what this new space signifies for us in the campaign description and update section here. But if you can imagine that last year we were in a converted garage, you'll see that this is huge. Throughout this campaign, which ends at the end of March, please check back here and look at the update section, which will be regularly added to with personal narratives from Marrow teens, board members, donors, volunteers, and other members of our community, sharing why what we're doing is important to them. We'll also be sharing photos of the development of our space and posting documentation of our return to programming, which will start back up in March. It's difficult to ask for money right now when our country is in an unprecedented situation and so many worthy organizations are in need. But I'll close by paraphrasing a friend who recently said that now is the time to identify the communities you can impact. All ages music venues, your book club, DIY spaces. Our system is broken. There's only so much we can do by continuing to uphold it. By donating to Marrow, you'll have a direct effect on real teens who are working towards creating new pathways for themselves, envisioning a more equitable world, and creating new systems that support them. And I hope you'll read on to see how you can empower them to do this.
And I hope people do. That's great. Well, we're out of time, so thank you so much for being on here. If people are interested in going to the grand opening, they can go to your website, check it out. We'll have the information on the screen. Any last minute things we should know?
I don't think so.
Come visit,
Yeah.
come support, and you know, the silent auction, listen to the music, and good luck. I hope it works out well, and I'll be looking forward to it. So I will see you at the grand opening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for watching this segment of Community Hotline. We have one more coming up, so don't go away. We'll be talking about youth again and some of the opportunities available to them. Be right back.
Community Hotline is made possible with generous support by the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission. The Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission advocates on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels.
Enough to be watching the channels at MetroEast Community Media.